continue watching. My name is Masi Katsime, and today is the 31st of January 2024. Who knew that this month would come to an end? So we are excited on behalf of Ugandans out there. It's usually a hard month, the beginning of the year.
46 days of January.
Well, I can attest I've had only 31 days so far.
No, me, I've had 20. I feel like they've been just 20 days.
Yeah, all right.
It's really fast.
All right. Well, Charlotte is with me right now. And of course, the situation is interesting. We're always here every Monday to Friday from 7
to 10
a.m. And of course, today, as some schools opened up
on Sunday,
over the weekend, Monday, and some will open up next week probably. So we want to talk about the safety of schools.
Yeah.
How safe is the school that you're taking your child to? Because I have had experiences where, because it's a private school and probably the kids want them to excel, I've had instances with people I know. I mean, the kids are in wooden, the classrooms are wood. Now, I was imagining, I'm like, what if there is a fire?
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, most of the time, Uganda usually puts laws, put regulations to be followed by these schools.
Oh, yeah.
And most of these schools tend to pay the government officials. Oh, you've seen that? You need to overlook it. We'll find a way to work on it. Just give me some time. You know, money is coming in slow. You know, the kids are not yet back. Some parents have not yet paid. And the government official will take the money. And before you know it, the kids are in school 2 weeks into the term. The school is burning down and the kids are dying. So I feel like government officials should actually stop taking bribes and think about the students that are in school and the regulations should be followed that have been put in place.
Well, 7 out of 10 children in Ugandan institutions or schools are unsafe due to poor infrastructure.
Yes.
So I've talked about the poor infrastructure. The way some school setups are, you can imagine if a school, how can a classroom be made of wood? How is that safe? Yeah.
You wanted them to do only metal.
But no. I'm not saying metal. There are bricks.
Yeah.
I mean, there are bricks because, I mean, wood.
Oh, you mean the infrastructure where the kids are sitting? I thought you're talking about the
infrastructure.
But you know, these are usually schools that are in the villages most of the time. And here in town, we find that we have very few that are made of wood.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, at the end of the day, it's not safe. But on the other hand, when you think about it, when wood is burning, you can easily kick it and jump out.
Okay. For kids, I don't think they would be in panic mode, or it could be even a lizard.
At the moment.
Yes, it's actually even us as adults. We didn't think of
that. And when you think about it financially, maybe when the school is starting, they say, you know, since it is cheaper to use the wood, let me use the wood for now. And then with time, maybe when I get more money and maybe when I get more students,
with time, your children got there, your grandchildren got there. That is with time.
Yes.
That is the standard of Uganda that we live in. I mean, everything is time. Well, of course, I think the first news I got was the Budo school, the primary school that caught fire. That was when everyone was like...
That was around 2022 or earlier on. Because around 2022 in May, many schools were burning down.
No, the early 2000s.
Oh.
The early 2000s, I think in 2003 or 4, one of those years. Yeah, so everyone was like, okay, if one of the best schools in Uganda can catch fire, why? I feel like even away from infrastructure, poor installation of these cables and wires, then of course there are these rats that are coming around. Anything can happen and a spark can come out of the blue. Yeah,
I personally feel schools ask students to bring flat irons. They'll get to bring the percolators.
And now
the sockets are everywhere. But I remember back in the day, schools would have one socket and you had to make a line to iron. there would be a flat iron that is used by everyone almost. So if you ask every student to bring a flat iron, this flat iron might be bad quality, the other one might be good quality, this one might be very strong for the sockets. So you find that every child is putting, and before you know it, these sockets are getting a problem.
Yeah, the overwhelming crowdy students. You can imagine if something happened right there. I don't think, some of them, it will be like a stampede. Some of them will die actually because the desks will be kicked. And of course, 13% of Ugandan schools have implemented mechanisms to safeguard learners against fire outbreaks. 13%, only 13% out of the thousands of schools that we have, only 13% have prepared. No, that brings me to the kind of fee structure that we have. If I'm paying 2 million, I want to see accountability for where that 2 million is going to. Yes, are my kids safe? Is the food they eat safe? Recently, actually last year, there was this case of the Nyakanyonyi school where it was alleged that there was food poisoning. Of the kids, over 100 kids were sick. I don't know if others, probably some died. So you can imagine.
You find that if you want your child to be safe, usually when you ask government officials, why is this not being put in place? Why is this like that? Why is this like that? And then you'll find someone giving you an answer that actually makes you feel bad. If you actually feel like you need your child to be safe, why don't you actually make money and take them to a school that's actually safe and a school that has all the infrastructures you feel that is safe? But you find that 120 schools, both primary and secondary, were inspected back in May 2022 when the fires were too many here in Uganda. And of course, you find only 10% of the schools had fire hydrants on site for fire emergencies, and only 30% installed fire detection machines. So if fire starts, usually you see there is usually smoke, so it would help if the fire detectors are
there. Why I'm saying so, well, I have not seen that much in schools, even the schools that we know that are really, I think the biggest thing I've seen is a fire extinguisher in the schools that are well known. Even if you go to secondary schools, higher institutions of learning, I mean, even the institutions of learning don't think I have fire detectors. Why? Because that never occurs to your mind when you're sitting up at school.
This is Uganda. We will run and get buckets of water, we pour in there.
I mean, there is a lot of negligence. You cannot neglect. I mean, yes, fine. You put burglars to prevent kids from, moving out and escaping from school.
So in case of
did you ever think that could be an exit in case of anything happens? Those windows that you...
But I also think, apart from making money, these schools should be given a particular number they need to have in every dormitory. They put that law there because they used to have triple deckers. Now they're only allowed to have double deckers. You would find one dormitory with 1,000 kids, and it is a small room. They're crowded. But now they have double deckers only. But of course, schools, since they want to make money, they want to have more students, you find that they'll still find a way here and there. In case the inspector comes to the school, they find a way of changing it. So I think it starts with the inspectors themselves, the people from the government.
Of course, it also starts from the head teachers and the teachers, and with everyone knows at the end of the day you have to give in something. So, and of course we could talk about the rebel attack that happened to this school in Kasese.
Yes.
And of course where they were chopped and burnt. It was quite absurd, really. And the survivors were those that had escaped. Those that had escaped. And they had moved out, to enjoy life.
Those ones that had gone before the incidents. But those kids still, whatever, escape? Because what is out there that you're actually going to that you can't wait to have in the holidays?
Well, a lot. For our days, it was really understandable. You'd want to go and test liquor and probably, enjoy the bar and
then
all
you
that.
Come back and you came in the assembly. Well, what was that going to add to you?
Well, experience, I must say. But of course, it's a code.
I think I was a coward back in school because I felt when you leave school, each day that you're not in school, even when you're sick, your parent is making a loss with the money. So I always had that in mind.
Oh, you were the good kids. Oh,
no, not really the good kids. I was just a coward, I think.
Okay. You weren't a risk taker.
And I used to think about my parents' money a lot. I would be like, so today when I fall sick, I'm in the sick bay, mommy paid this amount of money, so that loss is there for each day that I miss this money. So when I do the exams and I get below 70, mom will be making a loss. So, you know, when you think about these things, you're like, no, you know, I'll not do it. It's not about being a good kid. It's about being understanding at the end of the day about your financial status of your parents, probably.
Well, I was thinking about insecurity, the insecurity that we have, the Kasese school, where the rebels attacked.
Yeah.
So, in my view, I was thinking maybe there has to be reinforcement of security around schools. They should put perimeters, these high walls where penetration is so hard. Where was the guard that day?
Well, they usually get these guards who are usually drunkards. They are cheaper, they are affordable. And schools usually feel like if I can get an askari for the whole term who is being paid 200,000, why not? So if you have someone that you're paying more than that, this person will actually like and respect the job. But remember, this person has a family to feed. He has kids to take to school. So at the end of the day, if he's making 200,000, if he gets a gig somewhere and he feels like at this moment it's a little bit safe, I can rush, do my gig, then I come back. Usually they step out.
Do gigs, they actually, I think that they're always cooperating with those guys and be like, they tip them and like, come in, they never co-work.
Because there are schools that usually when you go as a parent to visit, you're not allowed to go in a certain outfit. But when you talk to the askari is like, make sure you pass this side so that the head teacher doesn't see you because you've tipped them. So money does so many things. I don't know why people say money is evil. Because
it's evil because the moment he decides to, be lawless in that manner, I mean, you want money and you're harboring thieves. You're harboring thieves to hurt kids, really?
Yes.
That's why it's evil. Well, of course, 35% of schools, of fire instances in schools occur due to negligence and poor installation. I can say poor installation. Make sure the wires are into the walls or into the ceiling so that nothing can actually spark off. So definitely, I believe when it comes to school safety, there is a lot that schools need to adhere to. Though the uprise of very many private schools, they're fidgeting around with money, so they have to pay their teachers. Though what I do not know is, yes, and some of them are grappling, with food scarcity and all that. Now, I imagine if I'm a private student and I'm paying probably, let's say the highest in the rural areas, I'm paying 300,000. Yeah, the infrastructure is very poor. When it rains, it drizzles on the kids. The drops are dropping
in the books,
and all that.
They have to stop studying at the moment until the rain stops.
So me, I ask myself, you as a parent, I think parents don't take time to inspect these schools. They hear like, oh, I had a person who had a kid like
in that school,
that school that had wood like it's in my district,
and it's affordable for me.
And ask them, do you feel safe with your kid, being in such a school? And to my surprise, he told me, he's like, you know what, I want them to excel. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care about that. I care about going to schools worse than that.
Mercy, at the end of the day, us as parents, we always have a saying of, if I could go there, if I could do this, why can't my child do it? So when you talk about safety, as Ugandans, this is something we usually don't look at. We usually look at affordability, accessibility, and because someone has said this school is good, my friend's child was there, my child was there. And then also we look at PLE. That is something else we always focus on. So as parents, we usually see that if a school is affordable for me, I am looking at the salary I make, I am looking at the house I'm renting, I am looking at how much I have to pay at home as a person. So when you balance and see this school is falling within your budget, you say, you know what, let the child go. Why not? So by the time you think about safety, you'll be like, oh my God, even when I was admitting the child, I remember I saw their windows were like this. That is when it actually comes back to your mind.
To your mind, but by the time you took them, you're like, this is the best school.
This is affordable.
You have to excel. I mean, yeah. So those are some of the things that we have to look into as parents. So it all goes down, firstly, to you as a parent, before we get to blame the teachers and all that and the government. You as a parent, do you take, I'm a cautious person, really. I'm very cautious. I don't know, I'm not a coward, but I'm very cautious. I wouldn't want some instances to happen because I don't know how I would react. So for me to take my kid to a certain school, if I ever have one, I think I'll have to consider some factors. Leave alone, it's the cheap, affordable accessibility. No, I want my kid to be safe. I want them to have good food. Yeah, not this, I don't know.
But
a lot that goes on in
you see,
schools.
with safety, it comes with a lot. So if the schools, let's say, usually most of the dormitories used to have one door, one exit door, and so many windows. Or sometimes they would have two doors.
And there are burglar proof.
Yes, and the back door. So you find a school will say, why should I add another door? That is another expense. Because at the end of the day, safety comes with expenses. Putting fire extinguishers everywhere, the school will say, why do we need to put
one on the whole block?
Yes, in the whole block. And before you know it, the school will say, no, we usually don't have fires. Why do we need a fire extinguisher? They'll say, let's just get one. They can even have it and it's only in the headmaster's office. So,
well, this is a nice conversation. I know we're talking about it and someone here is a parent. So definitely they have a lot to say. Well, of course, right about now, I think we're going to get into what is happening into the press. Well, of course, here in the Daily Monitor making headlines, government order to set private hospital fees. Well, the High Court has also ordered private hospitals to stop detaining patients whose bills have not been cleared. Decision comes and amid reports that medical facilities are charging an arm and leg for services. I'm telling you, there are a number of patients, even mothers. You're given birth, you stay detained. Sasula, you have to pay. You're not leaving until you pay. I think if people knew how to, you would start working in the hospital, being a nurse and all that, because you have to pay for the bills.
Yes, you have to.
This is where it all starts from. And of course, family to front Ogwal's daughter for Kolo seat. Well, a lot is happening. And of course, as government suspends licensing of online money lenders.
And of course, here we see that Museveni was awarded in Italy, but Museveni also says Africa needs partnerships, not aid. And of course, we see here Nabanja. I love that she represented our country in Agomasi, but at least she would have kept it proper. Like, she should have looked better in the Gomasi. But I'm glad she's wearing our traditional wear from Uganda. And of course, the cabinet to table fresh bill on agencies, merger and tourists of Uganda, wildlife conservation, education, and some of the agencies are a result of laws passed by the government. So to effect that process, some require parliamentary decision to either have the laws applied or amended.
Well, of course, NMG governmentalists push for better waste management. Well, they are pushing, well, of course, we shall be giving you more of this report once we get back. And, you know, we could see what is happening in the papers. Well, of course, right about now, I'm joined with Andrew Barige, and I can see him there. How is the traffic? Good morning, Andrew.
Thank you, Marcy and Charlotte. And today I'm coming live here at the Kira Road junction traffic lights. Definitely getting to observe the traffic situation. As you can clearly see, when I came here just about 10 minutes back, I saw quite a massive little bit of congestion. Also, especially if we are to start from the Ntinda Bukoto Road, that side, down that lane, you can clearly see how the traffic is really starting out here. Quite a number of vehicles, and majority of them actually, I'm seeing quite huge private vehicles, public vehicles, few of them. So if you're coming in from Tinda side, and you're probably heading to town, well, you will be a little bit disrupted, most especially if you use the Ntinda Bukoto route. Yeah, so you can, if you're coming to the city center, there are two ways. You can actually use the Nakawa route and branch from Ntinda Nakawa Road, then branch off to Ginger Road. Then before you know it, you'll be at the city center. Oh, you need to be patient here because it will take you about 5 to 7 minutes, minimum of 5 minutes for you to reach your destination, actually to get out of that congestion, as I can see. And the advantage that is we're experiencing here is that there is actually no traffic officer in control of these vehicles. It's entirely the traffic lights, but I perceive that later on we shall be having the traffic officers coming to take control of these vehicles, as we can see. Now, just slightly, some of them actually heading towards the city center. They're going to head towards Kamocha, and that is, yes, Kamocha roundabout, then proceed up to Wandegea. And yes, Mulago roundabout still, and they will still be in position to get to the destinations. But it's quite much more inconvenient, you know, in that way, if you can do it that way. Same applies, you can see, for the people that are coming in from Kirab Road, using Kirab Road, and you're probably heading to Ntinda Bukoto, it's quite okay. Remember, Ntinda Bukoto side, these are areas that are both residential and at the same time commercial areas, whereby there are people that wake up and leave different parts of Kampala, different suburbs of Kampala, to head to those areas to execute business. At the same time, there are people that stay in those areas and they leave to go to the city or any other places to do business. So a combination of those can explain what we've been observing on that road. Okay, for those coming in from Kira Road, coming in from probably city center, you're coming in from Wandegea, you're coming in from Kamocha, and you plan to go to Ntinda Bukoto in just a few minutes, 10 minutes drive, or about 7 minutes drive, you'll be able to reach there. That is absolutely very perfect. It has no problem as compared to if you're living in Ntinda Bukoto and you're heading to the city center or any other given destination. Now, we'll take a look at the Lugogo bypass route. Yes, the Lugogo bypass, and of course, just adjacent to it, we have the Bukoto Street, just all the way there, which links up to when you follow it. Actually, you go to you branch via Kantacha Street, and then later you branch off to the Acacia Mall. All right, now we'll take a look at the Lugogo bypass. It's just a clear shortcut for you, also especially. If you've been held in this long jam, like I can see most of the vehicles, if you've been held in the long jam on Ntinda Bukoto route, well, you can just branch over here to the Lugogo bypass, and it will take you to where former ShopRite actually was, and there you will proceed to Ginger Road. But still, it's not a guarantee that around where Port Bell Road links up with Ginger Road, where we have the Airtel roundabout, might be another level of congestion. So you're leaving one congestion, heading to another congestion. So the best option here is you either be patient enough and use the Kamocha route, Kamocha route, head to Wandegea, head to Mulago side, and then proceed to the city center. Or you fall into another congestion along the Ginger Road when you go straight to the Lugogo bypass and you know, you link up to Ginger Road. You can see it's quite very heavy. A number of the vehicles actually coming in down from Ntinda Bukoto. It's the most congested routes among the routes I'm observing this morning. Very congested. Residential. So you can imagine that combination, both business personnels and other commercial people, you know, other people that have shops in Ntinda Bukoto. It's actually another town of its own. So it explains why you see that degree of congestion. But like I told you, there are three options. You either use the Ntinda Nakawa Road, you branch off to Ginger Road and proceed, or you will be patient a little bit. You get out of this jam, go to the Wandegea route, Kamocha side, because the disadvantage, like I told you, when you proceed towards Lugogo and you head towards Ginger Road, well, you might still land into another congestion, most especially along the Airtel roundabout, where Portbell Road joins the Ginger Road. It's normally very heavily congested, very congested actually. So that is part of the options that you could reconsider as you make a decision of travel this morning. Well, that comes to the end, brings us to the end of this report, the traffic report. I've been coming live here at the Bukoto Road in Tinda, just close here at the Kira Road junction. Just behind me, there is a police station. But in my observation, the most congested route is in Tinda Bukoto, most especially if you're leaving Tinda Bukoto and you're heading towards town. It's very congested. Back to studio to plot 42, Nile Avenue with Charlotte and Marcy.
Well, Andrew, thank you for that beautiful report, and of course, those that those that are making their way to their workplaces. I hope you understand the situation that is happening along those different roads. Well, 27 minutes past 7 a.m. And of course, this time you're always going in for a short breathe. And of course, today is the 31st. Do something for yourself. And we shall be right back with Karibu and International Business News.